This financial giant defied the anti-crypto trends to launch a new retail crypto product. Today, we are talking about a narrative violation that you will not want to miss. All right, friends, welcome back to another YouTube video. And today, like I said, we are talking about a narrative violation, an important one that shows that despite everything happening, institutions haven't necessarily abandoned us. And this comes at a good time because let's admit it, it has been a rough few weeks for the crypto industry. We had, for example, the accusation in a lawsuit against KuCoin by the New York Attorney General that Ethereum, or Ether more specifically, is a security. We barely had any time to digest this before we got crazy bank failure news, but this is going to be a thing that we have to deal with in this industry over the months to come. Yesterday, Gary Gensler reaffirmed his opinion that proof-of-stake models were mostly securities. So we have that happening. Then, of course, we did have the whole set of bank failures started by Silvergate, which was a specifically crypto bank, followed by Silicon Valley Bank, which was not. And then, of course, there was the closure of Signature Bank on Sunday night. This is something I've given a lot of airtime to. I think a lot of us in the crypto industry have felt as though there was more going on than just Signature having poor management or problematic balance sheet issues, given how many other banks fit that criteria. Over the last couple days, Signature board member Barney Frank has been on a media tour saying that he really does believe that crypto was the source of or the reason for the shutdown of Signature Bank. Now, some folks have said, listen, there were other issues going on. Maybe we shouldn't, as an industry, be saying that it was all about crypto when regulators are telling us it wasn't all about crypto. However, then yesterday, we got this detail from Reuters, who have someone familiar with what's going on as U.S. regulators try to sell these banks, and there was a specific criteria attached to Signature Bank. That criteria was that they must agree to give up all the crypto business at the bank. Now, keep in mind that the FDIC's job is nominally to get as much as they can for Signature. So to hack out this extremely lucrative part of Signature Bank, including Signet, which is its real-time settlement network, suggests that there is, in fact, a target on crypto's back, at least as happens now. So we have all these things going on, and they are causing a bunch of pushback. Bloomberg is reporting today that the Blockchain Association has submitted Freedom of Information Act requests to regulators around whether there really has been targeting against the crypto industry. Jake Chervinsky, who's the head of policy at the Blockchain Association, writes all about this. He says there's troubling reports of crypto companies having their bank accounts closed, often with no notice and explanation. They're struggling to open new accounts too. This disturbing trend suggests that regulators are trying to cut crypto entirely out of the banking system. He goes on to say that these rumors haven't been proven yet, but there is a lot of evidence, and so they want to get the information directly, and they've submitted these Freedom of Information access requests. So all of that is going on in the background. Crypto is in this sort of very then they fight you type of period. But quietly, as that happened, another thing happened. And if you'll remember, last bull cycle, the narrative was entirely around the institutions have finally come. This kicked off with Paul Tudor Jones and his whole idea of the great monetary inflation and why Bitcoin had surprised him to be what he thought was a really good hedge against that. That led into MicroStrategy and the Bitcoin buys. That led into Tesla's big Bitcoin buy. That led into a lot of narrative discussion around Bitcoin as a store of value and institutions getting in the game. Now, obviously, that sort of petered out a little bit as the rest of the bear market started to set in. However, it hasn't been clear for those of us watching the industry closely that the institutions have ever really abandoned this industry. In fact, it seemed more like they stopped trying to get news or headlines for their involvement, but were quietly building infrastructure for whenever the next bull run happens. I've called this post-narrative institutionalization, and this week we got one of the best examples we've seen yet. The Block yesterday writes, Fidelity Crypto quietly went live, giving millions of retail customers access to Bitcoin and Ether. So Fidelity is one of the largest brokerages in America. They have 37 million plus accounts, and they've been working on this retail crypto product for quite some time, in defiance of regulators who didn't want them to. They had previously only allowed this to be available to users on a waitlist basis, but now all waitlist users have access. Bitcoin and Ether transactions are commission free, which means that they're highly accessible to a wide array of people. Now, again, there has been so much going on with the chaos surrounding banking failures and the accusations of Operation Choke Point 2.0 that people haven't really dug into this, but many who are paying attention say it's significant. Eric Turner, who's at Masari, says we are all underestimating the impact of Fidelity Crypto. Online brokerage and 401k admin, and also has a massive brick and mortar wealth management arm. Thousands of advisors will need to learn about crypto now that anyone can walk into an office and ask. I think that's a great point. The other point, though, going back to where we started with this accusation that Ether is a security, comes from Meta lawman James Murphy. He writes, the Fidelity website says its crypto trading service for Bitcoin and ETH is available to customers in New York. I guess Fidelity does not agree with the New York Attorney General's claim that ETH is a security. That sets up the stage for a pretty interesting legal battle, and having Fidelity on the side of this isn't a security is something significant. Not deterministic, of course, but it does matter. So the point of this video is that even in all of this chaos and the feeling that crypto is being assaulted from all sides, which frankly it is, don't forget that when it comes to putting people's money where their mouth is, big businesses are still getting involved in this industry. They're still building out infrastructure for this industry. They are still positioning themselves to be the beneficiaries of when this big tide of antagonism flows away, and what's left is an alternative financial system that more and more people have opted into. So get excited about Fidelity while also keeping it in the larger context, and we're just going to have to keep seeing what players do next. All right, guys, that's it for today. Appreciate you watching as always. Until tomorrow, peace.